Shalom, brothers and sisters. Shalom, brothers and sisters. Giving honor and praise unto the Most High, the Creator, the Maker of heaven and earth. My name is Yeshiah Yisrael, of the tribe of Dan of the nation of Israel. This particular presentation, brothers and sisters, we are going to go over Leviticus chapter 18, namely in verse 6, regarding the Hebrew of such. We hope and pray that everybody is well and will be better. We are going to, brothers and sisters, pull up the PowerPoint from the slideshow in this particular case. And brothers and sisters, we are asking you all to comment, to like, and to subscribe. And brothers and sisters, this is on the channels Moreh Yeshiah Torah lessons, as well as Moreh Yeshiah Hebrew lessons. So, brothers and sisters, in this particular matter and in this particular case, if I can be heard well and people are in good spirits, please type in the number 4. If I can be heard well and people are in good spirits, please type in the number 4. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, brothers and sisters. I'm going to use one form and not the other, and pull up, brothers and sisters, the PowerPoint in this particular case. All right, thanking everybody who's joined on. And brothers and sisters, it is indeed an honor, and I take it as a privilege to speak, regardless of what language, this particular matter to the children of Israel, the Most High's people. And brothers and sisters, in said matter, we are, yes, going to pull up the presentation in that case. All right, and we're going to start from the current slide, if we will. We hope and pray with everything going on that people are able to get their pens, their pads, and their paper and to take notes. Previously, I was unable to receive regular phone calls and only through StreamYard upon the 908 telephone number. Giving honor and praise unto the Most High, Creator, Maker of heaven and earth, I am able to receive phone calls and texts regular at the number you see there, 908-587-4841. All right, thank you for that, brothers and sisters. To the people in the chat, Atar ben Yisrael, CP, Son of Wisdom, Yirmiyahu Yisrael, Hebrew Boy, and everybody else at the sound of my voice, I say Shabbat Shalom, Shalom Lakem. All right, so let us, brothers and sisters, in this particular matter, get into the matter. Giving honor to the Creator of heaven and earth. This presentation is brought to you from Danitepublications. Now, Danitepublications, if you look it up on the internet, is the website that has more lessons and so forth concerning this kind of matter. We can be reached at 908-587-4841 or YYISRAEL, the number 22 at yahoo.com. All right, so without any further ado, asking people to get their pens, their pads, and their paper and to take notes. This presentation is not intended to be as long as the other presentations, but we want to start off brothers and sisters, in prayer, if we will. All right, so let us face toward the Holy Land, and we will say as so. Hallelujah. El Rakum Wakhanum. Ha'el Elyon Ata. Wa'en Shawe Lakaba Shamayim Ba'aretz. Shublanu Bebakusha. Wenashu Beleka. Kwabel Kulanu. Wagam Kane. Anaknu. Nike Nikuyim Be'eneka. Rakets Kulanu Naya. Wagam Kane. Nirukats Be'eneka. Ya Elohai. Wa Elohei Abotai. Eloheinu. Wa Elohei Abotenu. Shemana Tefilotenu. Wagam Kane Tislachenu Bebakushaya. Wagam Kane. Anaknu Nislachim Be'eneka. Shemana El Tefilotenu na ya. Wagam Kane Anaknu Nishameya. Kiata Shomea Kol Debarim. Wa Ein Dabar Asho Enka Yodea. Wagam Kane Ein Dabar Asho Enka Tir'e. Wa Ein Laka Me'uma Awen. Zakrenu Bebakusha Apar Kulanu. Enenu Yekolim La Aso. Shum the Bar Biliotka. Ya Eloheinu wa Elohei Abotenu. Shupa Abo El Habanim. Wa El Ha-Imot El Ha-Not. Wa Gam Kain Ha-Horim El Ha-Ladim. Wa Akla Ak wa Akot La Akota. Wa Gam Kain Bebakushaya. Ish. Wa Gam Kain Isha Isha. Wa Gam Kain Ish Le Ishto. Bezedek Be'eneka. Yahweh Elohai wa Elohei Abotai. Eloheinu wa Elohei Abotenu. Shemana wa Gam Kain Anaknu Nishameya. Tir'e Babakusha Al Za'akwat wa Gam Kain Zarat Amka Yisrael Ba'ereta Ma'ara Pazo. Wa Gam Kain Iye Hayamin. Wa Gam Kain Ba'eretz Kam Ba'eret Shem wa Gam Kain Ba'eretz Yafet. Yahweh Eloheinu, wa Elohei Abotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yiskak, wa Elohei Yisrael. Titing lanu le basara buk amka Yisrael tahora. Wa gam kain al na titing lanu iwer, wa gam kain titing lanu keresh. Hallelujah. Amen. Mosai, King of all forefathers. Hear us and we shall be heard. Heal us, and we shall be healed. For you are the one and the all, and there is none beside you in the heaven above or in the earth beneath. Hallelujah. Brothers and sisters, that is something that we definitely never, ever, ever want to lose sight on. That the Most High is one, and there is no second to compare to Yah, nor to consort with Yah. Without beginning, without end. Yah, the Most High, is the creator. Brothers and sisters, we asking you all to subscribe to the channel. You know, in the writing of many books, there's no end, and much studies of weariness to the flesh. Why do I mention that? Because without proper guidance and without proper understanding of the beginning of knowledge is the fear of the Most High, and depart from evil is understanding. So regardless of what you read, or regardless of what you're writing, regardless of what you're talking, or regardless of what you're hearing, if one is not doing a matter for self and trying to encourage others to return to the Most High, as Hosea the prophet stated, as Isaiah after him stated, and as Jeremiah after him stated, then what you're saying is, quote, FS, meaning nothingness, brothers and sisters. All right? So, in light of that, brothers and sisters, let us never get sidetracked in that particular matter. Let us get into the presentation. Get your pens, your pads, and your paper, and to take notes. We're going to look at this, brothers and sisters, from the laser pointer. And it says, Ish el kar she'er but saro lo tikrebu legalot irwa. That's the Hebrew we're going to be focused on. The Hebrew that you see going across the screen, it says lo tikrebu. And we're going to focus on that word as the slides go on. So let's look. Ish. This means each man or every man. All right? It's doubled in Hebraic thought, because when something is doubled, it shows the emphasis of such. Hence why you might see the situation in the scriptures where it says Moshe, calling him twice, or Shemuel, calling him twice, for emphasis purpose in that particular case. Or when even Pharaoh thought he had two different dreams, but Joseph was saying the dreams of Pharaoh are one. All right? And looking upon it, say, in that particular case. Now, let's look at this. And this is not to get sidetracked. The Pharaoh, during the time of Joseph in the scriptures, if a brother is right in his calculation, in the book that I wrote, Egypt Talking Writing, would be a Pharaoh during the 11th dynasty of Egypt. Because, not to get sidetracked, you have what they call the intermediate periods. A lot of the times the dynasties were ruling at the same particular time. So when you don't do it according to the same particular timing as in the intermediate periods, some of the co-regencies and others, and just separate it as if everything was one following the other, as opposed to some of them being in the same time of each other, we wind up getting into an understanding where the timeline is backed up. So let's say, for instance, during the time of the ending of the intermediate period and going into the beginning of the middle kingdom of Egypt, if that Pharaoh was on that throne when Joseph was speaking with him, and say that particular case, now we want to know that those Egyptians did not do their dynasties the way we calculate it now for our own mathematical equations. But nonetheless, brothers and sisters, that would lead us to think that he definitely was a Hamitic person. And so, why will it not be understood that he would have had respect, character, knowing how to speak to a certain person of dignity status? You understand? This is what the Torah is teaching us. Unlike the other books that sit there and speak horrible of Hamites. Oh, Ham was cursed with being black, and his lips and nose look like this because of that. We as Israelites need not associate with that kind of ideology, because we see in our book that who would be a Hamite for sure, definitely in the scriptures, was given respect by an Israelite. Joseph fed true and indigenous Egyptians when he was made a viceroy in that particular case. So when you find, no disrespect intended, some Israelites today, I ain't feeding no Africans. No, that's not the ancestors we come from. We come from being the light of the world and the head of the nations. So if we are Elyon HaGoyim, or the highest of the nations, according to Deuteronomy 28, the part that doesn't have the curses in it, the first 14 verses or 13 verses, then why do we find it difficult to understand our true place even in this day and time? You understand? Brothers and sisters, it is the goal of the nations to try to sit there and get us to turn from our God. Therefore, it is the goal of us for us to get closer to our God. And we have to do that by, as it says, as we get into the timing closer to Yom Kippur, about having a contrite heart, changing your character, changing your spirit, and so forth and so on. So let's look at this. This is saying all men without saying kol ish. Now you can say ish, or you can say kol or kal ish. All right, just to point that out. Now let's point this out here on the left-hand side. Pardon me, the right-hand side. she'er, meaning flesh, seen in Psalm 78, and she'eri, seen in Jeremiah 51, meaning my flesh. Now, brothers and sisters, if she'er means flesh, then when we see the next word, bisaro, meaning with his flesh, in his flesh, we already can see in Hebraic thought that there are two words used for flesh. So what is this identifying as well? The word, and we want to, this is why we are saying get your pens and your paper, brothers and sisters, in this particular case, if we will, right? When you look at the highlighter, right, and look at this word here, she'er, right? What are we pointing out, if we will, for Hebraic? It comes from the word in root sha'ar. The word sha'ar, brothers and sisters, means to remain. And she'erit, which is part of the name of the congregation I started out as a child, kol she'erit b'nei Yisrael, meaning all the remnant of the house of Israel. She'erah in Hebrew also means flesh, her flesh, also meaning remnant, meaning that which is left. So what are we emphasizing on in Hebraic thought in this? If the word she'er means flesh, and then we also know, brothers and sisters, that the word basar means flesh or meat, what are we reading in Leviticus 18, verse 6? Any man, each man of all that remains of his flesh. That's more so the literal definition and translation of such. It goes on to say in Hebrew, if there's any questions or comments concerning what's being presented, and I say no disrespect on this platform, you're not going to be blocked. You're not going to be removed if you ask a question. And if it's a question that has nothing to do with the topic, then I'll say, then let's address that later. You understand? We have to, when presenting ourselves to the people, brothers and sisters, and I say this in respect, if your channel is not operating, people will find another channel. There are other Hebrew teachers out there. So what are we pointing out, brothers and sisters, is this. Pick your teacher. You understand? And don't think that, quote, the students need you when there's more than one teacher in Israel regarding this kind of matter. All right, getting back into this, incorporating character along with the lesson, we see this, brothers and sisters. Each man, any man or men, unto all that remains of flesh, of his flesh, meaning anything that's of near of kin to you, that is of your flesh, in your flesh, that is to say mishpachah, or immediate family in this case, right? Lo tikrebu legalot erwa. So that is a more precise literal definition or translation, of what we're talking about for reference purposes. If there are any questions or comments concerning this matter, please type it into the chat. We asking you all to subscribe, hit the like button, brothers and sisters, and I'm not going to sit there in front. The reason why people are asking online for people to, quote, hit the like button is because the more likes a video get, the more YouTube pushes out for people to watch as a suggestion. That's why you find brothers and sisters or anyone else online, like, there's a reason why you find us saying like, is because YouTube will push it out as a suggestion for others. All right. It's the likes and the shares more so than the comments as far as YouTube is concerned. But yes, being one who takes out the time, Torah, thanking the creator, it is definitely respected when people take out their time to put a comment in as well. All right. So if there's any questions or comments concerning what we've gone over, please type it into the chat. Now let's look. We have here, Lo tikrebu legalot erwa. Let's look at this word here. All right. And I want to show it, if I may. All right. In the laser pointer, no, in the red highlighter. Right. Want to do that and show it from that particular angle, if we will. Tikrebu. This word means you all shall approach. The prefix is with the tau. So brothers and sisters, while doing this matter in this particular case, right? Let's look with the pen, if you will. You have the letter tau showing it. Remember, Hebrew is read, brothers and sisters, from right to left. All right, for reference purposes. Shalom, my love, Sarai. My shalom, ex, sweetheart. How you doing? All right. So just want to point that out in reference purposes in that particular matter. All right. So Dora asked the question. So by saying ish is an informal way to say every man, than saying kol ish being more formal, or the other way around. Okay, that's a very good question. Ish in that case is being emphatic. You're being definite. You letting something be known in Hebraic thought that this is what it is. For instance, in the Bible, when Joseph says gunabti, that means in translation, indeed I was stolen. But the gunabti, that gamel, that noon and that bet being emphasized in two different words, having the same root, shows it indeed matter, shows it that it is a emphatic matter. That's what that ish means. So when it's doubled like that, it's showing something that is a particular case, that is a definite matter, Dora. Hopefully that answered your question. Hebrew boy asks, can cousins marry each other? I know in the last chapter, Numbers, some daughters did, and the Levites could only marry their people. Is that right? Yes. Well, see, with the Levites, you can. Like if I remember right, with the high priest, he's only supposed to marry within the nation of Yisrael. See, the priesthood of Israel, be it the high priest or otherwise, they can't marry an Edomite. They can't marry a Philistine by law. Now, in Israelite culture, for all the 12 tribes, yes, you can marry a cousin, be it the first cousin or otherwise. Now, let's look, and this is not trying to put our own thoughts and feelings in the laws of the Most High. Most will not marry their cousin. And when you look at that kind of situation that happened in the book of Numbers, take it from Numbers 27 and then again in Numbers 36, correct? You will see that they went to Moses, he being a man of wisdom, not knowing the answer even with that, went to the Most High. So that goes to show you that cross-cousin marriages, though we see it permissible in Israel, was not a common practice. Because if it was a common practice, the people would have just done it already in that particular manner and so forth. So hopefully that, is understood for reference purposes. All right. Thank you for that. Is there any questions or comments? Please, again, yes, do feel free to type it into the chat with the time allotted. Thank you all for joining on. Now, the prefix is with the letter tau. And we see, brothers and sisters, the letter tau here. And it signifies the you. Now, when we read in Leviticus 18, verse 6, it says, you shall not approach to any that is near of kin. All right? The suffix is with the wow. And we're going to color code that, if we will, right? If I may, with the black. And that's the you all. So that wow that we see there next to the bet being circled on the top part, tikrebu. The root of the word, the root is the word kwarab. The word means to come near, to approach. Literally means he approached. So, brothers and sisters, the word kwarab means he approached, all right, for edification purposes. So if we were to, brothers and sisters, look at it, say from another aspect, right, we can say kwarabti, I approached. Ekrab, I will approach. Kwarob, near or approaching or soon. All right, what do we want to point out? The Hebrew word for soon, all right, S-O-O-N, is kwarob. All right, so that's something, again, we care to point out for reference purposes, if we will. I'm going to type into the chat, all right, subscribe to the channel, Moreh, Yeshiah, Hebrew lessons. And in the description of this, when this is uploaded, I'm going to show the link of Hebrew lessons number 30, 31, 32, 33. Because in that channel, Moreh Yeshiah Hebrew lessons, in those particular videos, lesson number 30 to lesson number 33 is where we get Ab, Ima, Ak, and Akot, and how to say mother, father, brother, and sister. My mother, my father, their father, my brother, his sister, their sisters. We're speaking about all females. All of that is in those particular videos, and it's going to be in the description, brothers and sisters, when this is pointed out. All right? So just wanted to point that out for reference purposes. We want to emphasize, brothers and sisters, it says that when the Most High came, he came with a fiery law. This is partly why when a brother does a lesson, be it in Hebrew or history, I attempt to incorporate the laws of the Most High in such by using the book itself. Not being funny, as an Israelite, I'm not intimidated to use outside sources. But as an Israelite, we're not going to sit there and disavow the legitimate matter and the matter of the scriptures in usage. All right, so let's point this out. Now let's look at this, brothers and sisters, with the laser pointer, right? If we will. Any questions or comments, please again feel free to type it into the chat. This is on Moreh Yeshiah Hebrew lessons and Moreh Yeshiah Torah lessons. All right, so just want to point that out. The root is the word kwarab. This means, and I'll put inside of the brackets too, come near, because literally the word kwarab means he approached or he came near. All right, just want to point that out. Now let's look at the right hand side. Legalut. This word means to uncover. This is the infinitive. In other words, when I'm saying infinitive, as we pointed out before, the usage of the letter lamed in front of something means two or four. So I would like to type that in to the chat. All right, the usage of lamed means two or four. All right. Just want to point that out for reference purposes. So if I were to say le shalom for peace, if I were to say laka for you, that's how that works in that case. So let's look. When you have here legalot, this word means to uncover. This is the infinitive. The root is the word galah. This is a lamed hey verb, in that the last letter is a hey. So remembering, brothers and sisters, that Hebrew goes from right to left, right? We see the hey letter here, all right? I would like to sit there and show that, again, for reference purposes. You see the hey letter there in that particular case. Now, most verbs are a three-letter root. Not all, but most. Over, I may say, 90% of verbs are a three-letter root. All right, so just want to point that out. So now galah means literally he uncovered. Now what is the Torah teaching us? You're not supposed to approach to a certain person to uncover their nakedness. Approaching and uncovering the nakedness means that you're preparing for intimacy or sexual activity, if you will. And what the Most High's law is saying is that there are certain people that you're not supposed to do that with. I spoke with a brother earlier, all right? Shout out to my brother, my friend, the brother Yirmiyahu. And I remember explaining that not understanding the law, pardon me, it wasn't not understanding the law, it was not understanding the song. Somebody made a song, it was back in the 80s, called I Want to Rock With You Lady. I Want to Rock With You Lady. And I'm thinking and hearing, I want to rock with your lady. I was a child at the time. And I was saying to my mother, may she rest in peace, that is against the law of the Most High. You're not supposed to covet another man's wife. You're not supposed to be rocking with another man's woman. And my mother looked at me and said, son, you're right. The other issue is that that's not what the singer is saying. You understand? So now, unlike some of the songs today, brothers and sisters, where they are actually saying, your man don't know you like I do. That stuff that Bad Boy Entertainment came out with. And you see where that leads. You see where that goes. Did we not learn from the matter, say, with Dawid or David? No disrespect intended. Coveting a man's wife lead to adultery, led to murder. See, when you're dealing in the laws of the Most High, and this is no bash or disrespect toward Melech Dawid, it prevents having other matters happening. So now here you got it. Your man don't know you like I do. I got to take your man from you like LL Cool J is talking about. And then you just begin to see all kinds of problems going along in that particular realm. Not to shout out other people's names on the channel and get sidetracked. When you find yourself so-called Umar Johnson, if you will, talking about, oh, if your lady is an Umarian, then I'm going to take your lady from you. These people are online while bashing the Tanakh, having no respect for the Most High, are actually saying that they would take another man's woman from him. That's against the laws of Yah. And again, you see the kinds of problems that comes along with that. That is something the Most High God ain't never respect. If you steal, and this is not condoning it, you can replace what you stole. But what are you going to do? Give up one of your ladies or a lady you with because you was with somebody else? How do you replace that? Proverbs 6 says the man who does so lacks understanding. And that's very true. So brothers and sisters, we want to be clean in this particular case. You understand? Being taught the laws of the Most High, certain things you see is already an effrontery to you. I remember wondering why, when I found out that the lady playing Claire Huxtable, whose real name or government name is Felicia Rashad, is a married woman, why is she in the bed with Cliff in the show, the Cosby Show? Why is Cliff or Bill Cosby in the bed with another man's wife? And again, may my mother rest in peace, looked at me like, that's what happens when you come from a good Moreh. Moreh Yosef was my teacher from Marako Sheri. He was taught by Rabbi Yirmiyahu, who was taught by Rabbi Matthew. So again, may they all rest in peace. But you don't ever come online and disrespect your teachers. You don't ever go offline and disrespect your teachers. Some people done got so smart, they done sat there and forgot order and discipline. You're not going to agree with everything that your teachers state, but you don't ever, publicly or privately, disrespect them. Never do that. So brothers and sisters, looking upon it and getting back into this presentation, if we will, right? The root of the word, the root is the word gala. This is a lamed hey verb, and that the last letter is the letter hey. All right, just want to point that out. Erwa, this word means nakedness. The word comes from ara, as we see here, meaning in verb to be naked or to be bare. So you would say ariti, I was bare, I was naked. I was in that state. Gala, meaning to uncover. Galiti, I uncovered. You understand? Nigaleti, correct me if I'm wrong, means I was uncovered. You understand? Quarab, meaning to approach or to come near. Quarati, I approached, I came near. Again, the word quarob, meaning what? Soon. So brothers and sisters, what else do we want to point out, if we will, right? I'm going to show something with the time allotted, all right, in real timing, all right, if we will. And that is this particular word here, all right? And let's look. Copy. Want to show this in real time as much as possible. All right. Now, let's look, brothers and sisters. We want to enlarge this. Thank you for being with me with that. And we want to type in some notes, if we will. All right, with the layout being so. This is a hif-il verb. This stem of verbs in general is generally the of the qual. Now the qual stem is words such as gala, asa, akal, shata, quarab, things of that kind of nature. All right, so now if quarab means to approach, hakreb, which is the beginning of the hifil stem, or hikrib, the root within the hifil stem, also in this case means to approach, to come near. All right, in this case, you are bringing yourself into a particular situation in that manner. All right, just something we want to point out. If I can be heard well and people are in good spirits, please type in the number 4. All right, just want to point that out. If I can be heard well and people are in good spirits, thank you. Please type in the number 4. All right, now let's look at this, brothers and sisters. The most used verb stem in Hebrew is the qual, then the hif-il. All right. Now, inside the description, along with the matter of lessons from 30 to 33, we're going to see lessons that are going to be posted explaining the hifil stem in detail. So when we say subscribe to the channel, comment, like, and share, and things of that nature, that's what we're talking about for reference purposes. All right, giving honor and praise unto the Most High, the Creator, the Maker of heaven and earth. Thank you for that, for the people who typed in this particular matter. My lady Sarai, thank you, my love, for that. Yirmiyahu Yisrael, see peace and wisdom, and shalom to you too. All right. Now, brothers and sisters, as we continue on in this matter, let us show this and make it larger, if we will, right? And we want to make this larger, if we will, right? And we definitely want to make this word here, all right, larger in this case. Matter of fact, yeah, we'll leave it as so and start from slideshow, current slide. Now, what do we want to point out showing it in said matter? We're going to color code this so we can begin to learn how to identify what stem is what in Hebrew. All right. Now, for those who are subscribed or have been listening to the channel, Moreh Yeshiah Hebrew lessons, we've gone all the way from Aleph, Bet, Gemel, Dalet to the vowels, to putting it together to different forms of verbs and nouns and grammar and so forth. So what we're showing on the channels now regarding Hebrew is biblical Hebrew, which is some of the oldest Hebrew that we have. Now, black people, majority of the people, to my knowledge, that subscribe to the channel, watch, are people of color, so-called black people. When we speak this form of Hebrew or biblical Hebrew in the ears of the Europeans or the European Jews, you're going to be told things such as, you speak Old Hebrew. Because instead of saying things like Yad Shelka, meaning your hand, you're saying Yad Ka. Instead of saying Isha Sheli, meaning my wife or my woman, we're saying Ishti, where you put the possessive aspect to the noun, a noun being a person, place, a thing, into it itself, as opposed to two separate words. They're going to say that because instead of saying the pronouns all the time, you're going to just do it so as the scriptures has it. Tik rebu. Now the pronoun that will go to that, can anybody type that into the chat? Of all the pronouns that are there, what pronoun you think will agree in grammar with the word tik rebu is my question to you all, brothers and sisters. All right? What pronoun do you think will agree in that particular case, brothers and sisters, if we will, for reference purposes? All right, can somebody type it into the chat in that particular case? What pronoun will agree with the word tikrebu? All right, we've gone over the pronouns. For those who happen to have the book, Hebrews Easy Volume 1, the pronouns are on page 13 and 14. For those who happen to have Hebrews Easy Volume 2, the pronouns are on page 8 in that particular case, or page 4 through 8. All right, so what pronoun do we think Noah understand belongs in that case, brothers and sisters? Can anybody type it into the chat in Hebrew or English letters? Thank you for that. While we await that particular matter, all right, and so forth and so on, somebody typed in us or we. All right, let's look at that. Us is otanu, which is part of the object pronouns, and then we is anaknu, which is part of the other pronouns, or the regular ones, if you will. So let's look. Tik rebu, we want to point out, literally means you all shall approach. So will we say you all shall approach? And I ask this in no slander or nothing like that. But nonetheless, that is not the correct pronoun to be used in that. So the pronoun, we would have to know and understand what the word itself means. Tikrebu, as pointed out, means you all shall approach. So now, in light of that, thank you for the answer for that, CP, Son of Wisdom. What would be the correct pronoun in that particular case, if we will, family? That is my question to you all. What would be the correct pronoun in that particular case? Thank you. And as we begin to see the answers hopefully come up, don't worry about making a mistake. One of the examples that I use is if you're a parent and you may have had to see your child fall and get right back up and like ain't nothing happened. Don't be an adult who made a mistake and be like, I don't know. No, let us. Hebrew is not a commandment that we have to learn it, but if we are applying the commandments, then it says be strong and of good courage. Don't let a mistake cause one to be like, I don't know. No, we do know. We're going to learn this all together, because that's why I give respect, may he rest in peace, to my teacher, Moreh Tibak, out of Beni Adat, because Moreh Tibak was the one who taught me how to teach Hebrew. I give respect to Prince Zarishadai, who works with, on Friday nights, the Shabbat, with the brothers out of DCB, going live with them, because I got the style of how to teach the verbs from Prince Zarishadai, for those who do know who I'm talking about. The courage to teach Hebrew, I got that from Moreh Tibak. You understand? Looking at it in that particular case. All right? What is the current question? The current question is, what pronoun goes accordingly with tikrebu in Hebrew? If, brothers and sisters, the word tikrebu, we already explained, comes from the root word kwarab. We already explained that the u sound at the end of tikrebu makes it plural. Then how do you say essentially you all in Hebrew? For those who happen to have, again, the Hebrew books a brother wrote, Hebrews Easy Volume 1 or Hebrews Easy Volume 2, it's in that book, brothers and sisters, for reference purposes. All right, so we're going to continue on as the answers come up and or questions come up concerning this matter. Definitely is appreciated. All right, let's look. This stem of verbs is generally the causative of the qual. The most used verb stem in Hebrew is the qual, then the hefil. So we want to, brothers and sisters, as time goes on, before, not trying to be funny, November, because sidebar, when so-called November comes, that's going to be the last of the public free Hebrew classes. There's not to talk business on the Shabbat. Anyone who will want a Hebrew class after November 1st, after that so-called Wednesday, will have to reach out to me so we can discuss it for private lessons. All right? So from now until then, we're going to focus on a matter of knowing the verb patterns when seen or heard of in Hebrew. All right? Just want to point that out for reference purposes. The most used verb stem in Hebrew is the qual, then the hif'il. Any questions or comments concerning that? Please feel free to type it into the chat. Anybody else got an answer about what pronoun will be the correct one to use for that? Glory to the Most High. Shalom. Giving honor to the Creator of heaven and earth. This presentation is concluded. We hope and pray that you all are well and will be better. Shalom. Please subscribe to the channel. We ask you to comment, like, and share. There will be no lessons from this channel in the morning. However, we do encourage you all to watch other platforms where your spirit feels comfortable. Shalom. It doesn't take anything away from one, as I said, Moreh, to suggest other platforms to brothers and sisters. All right. The brother asked this. In this particular matter, right? Would it be kulam? Okay, let's look. The word kulam, as the brother put in there, brothers and sisters, means you all of you. And in that case, it wouldn't make sense, but the all is already covered in that verse when it says ish, every man. So that is not what the correct pronoun to use in that case. We would not say kulam, or as he just typed, kulanu, meaning all of us, right? When dealing with pronouns. All of us is not a pronoun. That's a statement. All of us, you all of you in that case. Now, if I were to say that from the word kol or kal, right, that's one thing. I would say kuli, all of me. Kulka, all of you when speaking to one male. Kulo, all of him or all of it when speaking of a masculine matter. Kulanu, all of us. But I wouldn't use that in this particular case. All right? Because that's a statement more so saying than a pronoun. So when we're going to go over the pronouns, I'm going to take the liberty, thank you all for the time, brothers and sisters, right? And get my Hebrew book, Hebrews Easy Volume 1. And we're going to go over this. For those who happen to have the book, get it out. Hebrews Easy Volume 1. 1 second, shall return. Shalom, family. Thank you for that. This is the book we're talking about. Hebrew is Easy, Volume 1. All right? And let's look, brothers and sisters, if we will, all right, in this particular matter and in this particular case. Hebrew is Easy, Volume 1, and we're going to, brothers and sisters, go to page 13, if we will, under the part that says the basic pronouns. Now let's look for those who have that. You have ani, ata, at, hu, and he. All right. Now, then we have on page 14, remember this being a book, if you have it, you can get it and look over it with us, right? We have here, brothers and sisters, right? Anaknu, atem, aten, haim, and haim. All right? Anaknu, atem, aten, haim, and hain. We, you or masculine plural, you or feminine plural, they masculine, and they feminine. They is already plural. So, brothers and sisters, the correct pronoun to use in this would be the word atem. Atem tikrebu. That would be the correct pronoun. All right? And it's found in this book here, Hebrew is Easy, Volume 1. So, brothers and sisters, we definitely just wanted to point that out for reference purposes, if we will. So let's look at this and close out with the time allotted. There will be no lessons from this channel in the morning. Now, you can, if you're up to it, when this is uploaded, you can go in, and thank you for that, typing that in. CP Son of Wisdom, thank you for that, Ak. Yes, it is the word atem in this particular matter. All right? Okay. Question in numbers 35, 33. It states that a murderer's sin can't be atoned for except by his own blood. No sacrifice could be made for that, right? If so, JC, we're not, I'm going to say this. That subject of JC, we're not going to even talk about on this platform. This is Moreh Yeshiah Hebrew lessons, Moreh Yeshiah Torah lessons. That is a whole other subject that gets into a matter of doctrine. And it's not because a brother has said messianic brothers and sisters on the platform, but that's not what we're going to address in this particular platform. All right, so moving along with that, I'm sorry if anyone feels a way about that, but we're not going to do that. This is not what this particular channel is about in this particular matter and so forth. All right, so as far as promoting the Hebrew edification for Israelites, regardless of one's understanding of certain things in the world at large. So let's continue on, brothers and sisters, and looking upon it in this matter, if we will, right? When getting into this, if we will, you have the pronouns that we just went over. That's ani, ata, at, hu, he, anaknu, atem, atem, haim, haim. In the description, we're going to have it to where, all right, you have a pronoun matter, if we will, as well, brothers and sisters, all right, the family list matter from those other matters and so forth. All right, so just want to point that out for reference purposes and so forth. So subscribe to the channel, comment, like, share, and let us continue in giving honor and praise unto the Most High. I want to address the family, whether I've known you personally or not. As we get closer to the timing of Yom Kippur or the Day of Atonement, I want to, on a human level, ask you all if I have offended anyone. disrespected anyone, insulted anyone, made anyone feel away, please forgive me. It is a custom before we come before the Most High and ask for forgiveness. We ask for forgiveness of our neighbors, of our brothers, of our sisters, of our elders, and so forth. All right? So, if there's anyone I've offended, disrespected, whether recently or at all, I ask you to forgive me in said matter. All right? I don't know if I did. My number is there, brothers and sisters, in the beginning of this presentation, 908-587-4841. And reach out to a brother if you care to. All right. We're going to conclude and close out with the timing allotted and giving honor and praise unto the Most High, the creator and maker of heaven and earth. And we're going to, brothers and sisters, read a psalm in Hebrew and then in English and move on from that in that particular case. The psalm we're going to read, brothers and sisters, is Psalm 121 in the Hebrew. All right? And then we're going to read it in the English. So let's start. Hallelujah. Shir lama'alot. Esa ena el heharim me'ayin yabo ezri. Ezri me im yode wahe ose shemayim wa'aretz. Al yitain la mot raglaka. Al yanum shomreka. Hine lo yanum walo yishan shomer Yisrael. Yod he wahe shomreka, yod he wahe zilcha, al yad yamineka. Yomam ashemesh lo yakeka, wayareak balayla. Yod he wahe yishmareka mekalwa, yishmar et nafshika. Yod he wahe yishmar zetka uboeka, meata wa adolam. English, a song of ascents. I will lift up mine eyes unto the mountains, from whence shall my help come? My help cometh from Yah, who made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel doth neither slumber nor sleep. Yah is thy keeper, Yah is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. Yah shall keep thee from all evil. He shall keep your soul. Yah shall guard thy going out and thy coming in, from this time forth and forever. Hallelujah. Giving honor and praise unto Yah, the creator, the maker of heaven and earth. We hope and pray that everybody is well and will be better. Subscribe to the channel, comment, like, and share. My number is right there. Reach out to a brother and pray for one another. Shalom.